Well, I just think that if you don't see yourself as an FNG in some aspect of your life, then you're not pushing it.
Welcome to the FNG podcast, episode number 1, where the Green Beret trains the FNG.
I'm Buck, the Green Beret.
And I am KDH, definitely the new guy here. So, hey, for those of us unschooled, what is FNG?
So FNG is the fucking new guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So FNG, every team gets one, and unfortunately for that team, they're responsible for that FNG and bringing up to a normal human being's speed and being able to do normal people things, and so every team is gifted, unfortunately, with a FNG that they have to coddle and teach and train.
And it's a process that everyone has to go through, right? I mean, everyone starts off as an FNG. No one comes in highly skilled. Everyone has to learn the ropes and everything.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about that. And I know today we want to talk about, being the new guy. I mean, one of the first things we're going to have to do is to check our ego. There's no doubt about that, and what that looks like, from, we can talk about jiu-jitsu and business, everything else, but we're going to specifically talk about what it means, like, being on the team and in a military setting as well. And we can even talk about law enforcement, with your background there. So talk to us a little bit about that. Let's talk about when you first were the FNG.
Oh, yeah.
And how that feels just walking in that first day after you've done the training.
Yeah.
Pass the test.
So it's once you get through selection, the Q course, you finally graduate, you're on this high, and you're untouchable. You're on top of the world. You're loving life. And then you show up to the company and you're the FNG.
Yeah.
And it's like, so every success that you had up to that point, it gets put on the back burner. It doesn't matter anymore. It's completely irrelevant. Everyone in that building has done what you've done. So you got zero to bring to the table that they don't already have. So then the next step is you get assigned to a team, and that's where people find out your personality and how you're going to respond to that. Because there is a very legitimate, and if there's anyone, going to the teams that's listening to this or listens in the future, I mean, there's a very strict expectation of the way you're going to act and the way you're going to behave. And if you could do it one of two ways, you could fall in line and do the right thing the way you're expected to do it and have an easy, new guy time, or you could go against the grain and make it last a really long time.
So for you, let's go back and kind of recant your military background. So you get in, you're in the military, and you're working hard to try to navigate your ways to get to a special team. Green Beret is where you end up getting there. Talk to us about, I think we did a recording talking about a little bit of, Hell Week and all that stuff and the training. And it's definitely in the book for sure.
Yeah.
But you get through that, but now you're in and you're walking in. How does it feel that very first day you're walking in to meet the team and you are the FNG?
It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying because if you're aware of like what's really happening and how much is on the line, then you're terrified.
Yeah.
Because I mean, those guys, that's your team, whether you like them or not.
Yeah.
You could walk in that room and have the biggest assholes on the planet, and your new guy time is going to be some of the worst experience of your life.
Yeah.
Or you could have a team full of cool, laid back guys that it's easy, and your new guy time is cake, and they just want to teach you and help you.
How was it for you? Tell us how it was for you.
So for me, it was a little bit of both. So that I walk in and it kind of pissed me off because immediately I get given a neon yellow hat, and the hat says "fucking new guy" on it, and I was so pissed because it's fucking embarrassing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to walk around the company because other teams are looking at you, and other teams, the teammates, the guys are all looking at like, oh, who's this loser? And you're walking out with a neon yellow hat that says FNG on it, and it's like, because not everyone has to do that.
Okay.
So like, it's not like the standard, right? So whatever, you just do what you got to do. That was just what my team was doing and what they decided to put me through, and it pissed me off. I mean, I went as far as I would hide it. I would shove it in like in the dressers. I would do everything and hope that they would forget that I was supposed to be wearing it, but they never forgot.
Yeah.
Which doing all that just stretched out having to wear it even longer.
Yeah.
But I mean, definitely right out the gate, you're sweeping the floors. If you're in a team circle, right, and you guys are doing like an AR after action review on training or whatever it is, you go out shooting that day, do CQB, and then you have a circle. Well, you're going to go through each teammate, and they're going to talk about things that went right, things that went wrong. When you're the fucking new guy, you don't say anything.
Right.
Like, you don't have a room at the table. Like you shouldn't even sit in the circle initially until you're invited in. So there's a lot of expectations there.
Yeah.
And if you miss those, you could give yourself a hard time.
Well, and I mean, I had the great privilege of being close to some professional athletes, and especially like their rookie season and everything, and looking at NFL guys, and this is 20 plus years ago, but those rookies come in and they sign these huge contracts and making more money than they ever did, but now all of a sudden they show up to training camp and they're having to carry the bags.
Wow.
They're having to buy dinner, for other guys. They are literally, they're like being freshmen again, being hazed at
Nice.
college, that first year. And it's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of you paying your dues.
Yeah.
And it's you learning to check your ego.
Right.
Do you ever remember a time, once you kind of were no longer the FNG, that you had one and their ego was not checked and you guys just had to really put him in his place?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's actually my friend now, Tino. He's in law school now, but Tino just pissed me off. Gosh damn. So I was still the FNG because I'd been stretching my time out because I kept bucking the system. No pun intended. But Tino showed up and Tino he did not care. He was like, I'm not playing this game. I'm an adult. I passed the Q course. I have my spot here.
Yeah.
And he just came up with this like kicking my feet up kind of I'm on the team now attitude. And, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Funny story about me and Tino is we actually ended up physically fighting at a range. He pissed me off and we were shooting moving targets and he's like, aren't you a Bravo, a weapons sergeant? He's like, oh, I just outshot you. And I was like, dude, if you say one more thing about my shooting, I was like, it's going to go down.
Yeah. And
one of the older team guys, the seniors, so everyone's got, you got seniors and juniors, and your seniors are the more experienced guys. Well, the seniors overhear us arguing, and they're like, oh, hell yeah. So
they just egg it on.
Oh, yeah.
Keep pressing the
They're
button.
like, nope, both of you stand up now.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, shit. And they get in a circle around us, and they're like, fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Fight him? Okay. Yeah. And so I took him to the ground, and he punched me in my mouth, and I bit my tongue, and so I was just spitting blood all over the place. Like he popped me good. And then weirdest thing, I threw in an arm bar.
Okay. Come on.
Yeah, I put it in an arm bar and just kind of, finished it, but, without hurting him, obviously, and that's the cool thing about jiu-jitsu, but Tino pissed me off. He became one of my really, really good friends, but it was, me and him were rough going in the beginning.
Well, there's such a value in being the FNG, and it takes some courage. It takes some humility. It takes persistence as well, because it's so easy just to tap out. I mean, I'll compare it to jiu-jitsu. Me walking in and had a different experience than a lot of people, because I literally walk in only white belt there, and everyone else is a purple belt or above. And so I'm just and also I'm 10 plus years older than everyone that's out there, and just getting hammered.
Fresh meat.
The fresh meat. That's exactly what it is. And so, but there's such a great value. And so on this podcast, we want to talk about that. What does it look like to check your ego? How do we move past? And all the great growth happens, and it happens so fast once you check that ego and you realize, hey, okay, maybe I am the FNG right now, but I can learn. And my learning curve will go fast. So we're going to be doing some stuff with some handgun things. Oh, yeah. I really wish we would have videoed me just recently in my little escapade. Totally unloaded gun, but oh my gosh. And it is going to be a wonderful, wonderful, humbling experience for me. But talk a little bit about what you're excited about doing this podcast and where we want to go and some of the things that we want to be able to do and be able to reach some people as well.
Yeah, so There's so much going on in society today that the last thing I want is to just be another person on a microphone bitching about politics.
Yeah.
And so that I think what I'm excited about is to help other men in their journey, because we all need each other to get through.
Yeah.
You have all this amazing business experience. I want to learn that. So I'm the fucking new guy when it comes to business and to growing in that capacity. Mm-hmm. And then, it's, if I could bring something to the table as far as shooting or as far as lessons learned from the processes I've gone through, then that's what I'm excited about. So let's help men just be 1% better that day instead of 1% worse.
Man, I absolutely love that. And I'm totally game for this. I've told you, I think I've told you before, but people that have had any level of success, I think especially in business, they love to find that young, hungry guy that wants to get after it. And what it does is it reminds them of where they came from. I'm thinking about me 20 years ago, just getting started in business and seeing the excitement, the enthusiasm in your eyes and the willingness to learn and submit yourself and get some ideas. That's if you are the FNG, this is going to be so great for you, and this is going to apply in so many different areas. This may be guys, classing up to be on a team. This may be someone who's transitioning, into the business world. This may be someone who's a new dad. I mean, there's a lot of transitions that we're going to be able to cross over here,
right.
And I'm super excited about it, and to be able to walk this journey together, and just to roll out some things and be able to, share ideas, what people can do, what guys can do in particular as they're in this process, or if they're coaching someone through this process.
Right.
So, do you have anything else?
Well, I just think that if you don't see yourself as an FNG in some aspect of your life, then you're not pushing it.
Oh, that's a great point.
So that like everyone should be, every man, and sorry if I gear more towards men just because to me, the men in my life, the brotherhood, of men in my life is what helps me get through, outside of your spouse. But if you don't have some area that you're an FNG in, I mean, you need to go find it. Like, so, I'm an FNG in real estate and this new business endeavors that, we're taking on. And it's just a matter of learning. Like, if we don't wake up every day and start trying to learn something and be the new guy at something, then we're not growing.
Yeah. Well, I shared with you just a few minutes ago just the concept of Kaizen, and it's just that constant and never-ending improvement, just that little bit, that Japanese term just meaning a little bit of improvement each and every day. And the hard part about it is you don't always see the growth.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm imagining once we get to the range and we start shooting, maybe my I don't know what you call it, my range, whatever it is, where my target, I'll start getting closer and closer and closer. They'll bunch closer and closer together.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to have a physical, visual, I see them getting better. But sometimes in business, it doesn't happen like that.
Interesting.
There's moments you are getting better, but you don't see it until you look back. I mean, you really have to. The hindsight is 20/20, and you go,
right.
Man, I was able to make that decision quicker. I had much more clarity here.
Yeah.
And I know that we're going to have amazing stories that you're going to be able to share from the military background or even from the police background. Tell me this real quick, because we touched a little bit about on the police side, and what's it like being the FNG coming from military? Ops dude.
Yeah.
To now all of a sudden you're the FNG on the streets.
Oh, it was tough.
I mean, that's got to be unbelievably humbling, humbling, because you got some Joes that are this. Maybe their first job, and here you are. Well, and you've seen action. You've seen real action.
Yeah. So I have been in quite a few gunfights, and been on two-way ranges, but it was hard, especially the police academy, because it's like you're starting all over again, and right from the beginning. But at the same time, I was able to see other guys who had prior military. Some of them, whether just a soft skill MOS, they still took that prior military mentality, and then once they got into the police department, they were just like overconfident because they were military. And for me, it's like I almost was, nervous about my prior experience because people are looking to me to be this like tactical expert. But it's like, hey, this is a different ball game, right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm clearing a room as a Green Beret, I have at least, 5, 6 other dudes around me, or at least one that we train together all the time.
Right.
And when I say at least one, because sometimes we'll just be me and a buddy, and then we have, 7 partner force guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, we got to coach them and do. But when we're doing CQB, I mean, we're like, let's say a team is training, you got, 5 guys at a time going through a room that all know the same tactics. We all work together constantly. We all have, standards. So it's flowy, it's fast, it's accurate, it's speed, surprise, and violence of action. But then you go to the police department and you're clearing a room with you're clearing like a building with like one other person.
Wow. Yeah.
And you don't even know what that person's tactics are. You've never worked together before sometimes. Like they're just showing up and it's an alarm call and it's an entire building. And like, so as a Green Beret who's been like it beat into your head that you don't pass up open doors, you don't pass up blind spots, dead space. You're always checking your corners, but someone's always checking the other corner right behind you. That just goes out the way, or out the out the
window. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you want to throw it out, it goes out that. But that's it's terrifying as a police officer, because it's like you're accepting so much more risk. And then you're just trying to decide which bad situation is the best.
Yeah.
And that is really tough.
Well, I tell you what, Buck, I am so excited about this, and I'm excited about where we're going to go in the direction of this mission that we're going to be on, just in training ourselves and training other guys as well throughout this entire process. And so we'll put together a whole social media side and how we'll be able to connect with people. We'll put that in the show notes also, and we'll be able to have it. And we are going to come out here. We're going to deliver value for people each and every week in each and every episode that we're doing. And as we launch, we're going to have some other series that we're going to do. We're going to do some range stuff that you're going to be working with me on, a sniper, teaching truly a white belt here. And we'll have some other areas as well. So any last thoughts before we wrap up today?
I'm really excited. And I think that if you're going to listen to this podcast, you're not going to just hear 2 people talk about current events.
Yeah.
We're not going down that road, because we want to help, and we want to put something in your toolbox to make you a better person.
Yeah.
So let's be 1% better than we were when we woke up.
Absolutely. And it's not about understanding that if you are the F&G, but you're not going to be one forever, and you're going to be training F&Gs for a long time.
That's right.
All right, man. Have a great day, and we are out.